What's up, Soul Warriors? Welcome to this Saturday night Soul Session live with me, LC. This is part 3 of this 3-part series of Who is This Guy? The Stories of Me, Reverend LC. You know, it would honestly probably take me every day of 3 weeks to really go through all the stories that make me who I am, and as it probably would you as well. I have had the absolute honor of going through this series and really getting to think about so many of the things that seemed like the greatest oppositions in my life, but have become the opportunities that have truly made me the human being that I am today. And I can honestly say I am super proud of that. And so I'm grateful to get to share all this with you. A couple things to start with. Let's just take a big breath. We've just come through Hurricane Ian, and for all of those who are in Florida, all the devastation that has happened, our hearts and prayers go out to you. Let us rally around all of our fellow human beings that have lost everything and lost people that they loved. Here in my area, we went through it. It was more than we expected, and there are some things that I have definitely learned through this that I will do differently next time. But my wife and I and our little puppy, we fared well, and my family fared well. So, you know, I'm truly blessed, and I know that. And so I just want us to just surround our fellow human beings there in Florida and everywhere else in South Carolina where this has been a devastating impact. And it really leads us into tonight's part 3, the level 3, that leveling up of consciousness and recovery. Y'all know I've been doing this series based on the book by Jonathan England called If I Die Before I Wake. Now, this is a free download, a free book that you can get right here at findyourpurposebook.com. You can also watch it on YouTube if you go to Jonathan England. It is an amazing book that I still to this day cannot tell you how I found it, but it came in the most divine moment. And so I'm really looking forward to talking to you tonight about creating a life I love. Y'all know my saying is get up from your give up and create a life you love. And in that one statement, it truly brings together level 1, level 2, and level 3. Because I'm in the place now where I am creating a life that I truly love. And it is nowhere to be found outside of me. Tonight we're going to talk about happiness being the path. Realizing that so many of our success blueprints have come from outside influences. And this level 3 of consciousness and recovery is about truly finding where I fit in the world. And being proud of my scars and turning on the light in the darkness of shame. Listen, there is no greater time in history than right now in this entire epidemic that we make recovery the epidemic. You know, we are seeing a new form of fentanyl come through that is marketed specifically for our children. So I will tell you this straight out the gate. Always beware of things that are flashing in front of us and creating fear about our kids. You know, everybody's up in arms about kids and their gender and children and transgender issues and bathrooms. But at the end of the day, what we're not paying attention to is the fentanyl that is now marketed to younger and younger children. They look like candy. They're nicknamed sweet tarts. It is sweet when it goes in the mouth. So when things are trying to take your attention and scare you about your children, beware, because I'm going to tell you this. When you're standing over a child that you've lost to an overdose, does it really matter whether they're male, female, non-binary, transgender, gay, lesbian, black, white, brown? It doesn't matter. And so let us start paying attention to what's really, really, really going on. And let us in the recovery community stand up and get louder and louder and louder so that we continue to make recovery the epidemic. Recovery is the epidemic. Tonight we're going to be joined by our good friend Lori Anderson of the amazing podcast Laura's World of Sobriety, and that was the clip that you saw in the beginning of the video. She is putting together this amazing event in October there in her home state of Connecticut, and there's so many different sponsors. A lot of you have bought tickets to this, a lot of you have donated to this cause, and we're going to talk to her later in the show. We're going to talk to her about why this is so important, how we can keep continuing to grow these messages and continuing to make these things more accessible, to do more in this way, because for every effort that we are putting out as recovery warriors, recovering out loud, those who want to make addiction even more of an epidemic, they are amping up their energy as well. So it is not for us to give up, but for us to get up. And it's time for us to truly do what's best for our children, to truly do what's best for our humanity as a whole, and that's make recovery the epidemic. So I'm grateful that Lori's going to be joining us after a while in the show. But for tonight and for now, we're going to get into this part 3, level 3, getting up from my give up and creating a life I love. So if you all are ready to get into this Saturday Night Soul Session live with me, LC, then I'm ready. So let's go. All right, it's Saturday night live here with me, LC, and my good friend Lori is ready to come on in. So we're going to kick the show off with Lori talking to us about this event and maybe get into some reasons why this event, again, is so important. First of all, before we start the show, I want to make sure that you guys, all of you, get your hands on some of the most amazing resources ever. First of all, I want you to go and check out this book by my good friend Pamela Topjian. I didn't come this far to only come this far. Amazing inspiration, amazing information, and a true Zen master right here. I love Pamela Topjian. If you stick around to the end of the video, then there is an amazing gift from Breakthrough Hypnotherapy and Pamela Topchin just for this audience. All right, so hang out. We also have an arsenal of gratitude by Remy Stoak. You can follow Remy on Instagram at Remy Stoak and get this also on Amazon. This is an amazing book for anyone who is looking to change their perspective in life. In new recovery, a gratitude practices is just one of the most amazing gifts that you can give yourself in life. It sounds corny, it sounds cheesy, and when you're first doing it, it feels that way. But guess what? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and gratitude does that. Gratitude changed my life. I wouldn't be here without it. Arsenal of Gratitude. And I'm also reading this new book by someone who is really, really a diamond in the rough in my life. I didn't even realize that this man was so amazing. But it is called Working in Partnership with God, and it's by Lou Myers. And you can also find that on Amazon. So make sure that you invest in yourself. Get some resources that are going to really, really, really enhance and help you change your life. Help you get up from your give up and create a life you love. Well, right now, we're going to talk to my good friend Laurie Anderson about this amazing Comedy for a Cause coming up on October the 6th. And if you guys are ready, let's invite and welcome Laurie Anderson. What's up, my beautiful friend?
Oh my God. Hi, Elsie. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was like rushing to get home and I'm like, like,
You made
give me a few minutes. Let me just sit here for a minute and let me just take it all in. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Why
it.
not? Why?
You
Why
made it, and
wait?
you. That's right. Why wait? Why wait? Because listen, here's the thing. It's like I was saying in the beginning. You know, when we look at this new, more addictive fentanyl that is on the street right now, it is gaining a younger and younger audience. It is made more addictive, more deadly than anything we've ever seen. And we it is, like, I hate to say that it's up to us, but it's up to us, to really get out ahead of some of this stuff, or at least meet it, and start really making recovery the epidemic. And so you've got this amazing event coming up, and it's called Comedy for a Cause.
Comedy for a cause. Comedy for a cause. So thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to come on and talk about it because I'm very passionate about recovery.
Yes.
Shocker!
Yes. Yes.
Shocker, shocker. So I don't work in the recovery field and I'm hoping to do that. I'm taking some classes right now because I would just love to do that for a living. Like I love it. I love it. But I do work in the healthcare profession and I work for some orthopedic surgeons and I run their physical therapy side. And, this gentleman came in and this was a couple years ago. And, when you meet somebody in recovery, we have this connection, don't we? And you kind of
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they say a few things and you kind of get this feeling. And his name is Bill Crandall, Dr. Bill Crandall. I just adore him. And he has been in recovery for a really long time. And he does a lot for the community in Bristol, Connecticut. And so, of course, it's like, give me your card, let's see, we'll see each other sometime,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
don't see him for a little while. Then he comes back. He's got another body part he's got to work on. So he starts telling me about this center that he was opening, and it opened last year, October 1st. Today. Oh my
Wow.
God! All right, I didn't even realize that, but okay, this is awesome. October
Yes.
of last year, he took over a building and he uh, New Horizons Recovery Crisis Living Center. And this
Wow.
man does so much for the community, and it's more than just people with disabilities. And he runs a food pantry and clothing he gives out to people. And of course,
Outstanding.
my thing is about the addiction recovery stuff. And he has a
Got
whole division of that. And
wow.
so we start talking more and more and more and more about it. And, he's got some sober houses and he's connected to all of the treatment centers. And he really does a great job of helping people get the help that they need. And he's got a great staff, and they do counseling services there. And some people, well, I don't have a babysitter and I don't have this and I don't have that. And he opened up a daycare so that the kids could
Gosh.
come.
Wow.
So the kids could
Wow.
come while mom's
Wow.
getting some treatments. I mean, this guy is just amazing. So in any event, he asked
Wow.
me if I'd be interested in putting some kind of little event together. We weren't sure how we were going to what we wanted to do, but he said he would leave it up to me. And I feel like, we're sober, we're not friggin' boring, for crying out loud. Let's do a little comedy show.
Yes.
Come on, right?
Yes.
Let's have some
Yes.
fun. Come out and,
Yes.
for a good cause, and let's just sit and laugh. And so I reached out to some people that did recovery, recovery comedy, and I wasn't getting anywhere with it. And so a few of my friends were like, we know this guy. He's local. He's really great. And so Kareem Blue, he's got a great reputation. And the more people I talked to, they said, you hit gold with this guy. He's going to be great. And so I got to meet him and his wife Nina. They own
Outstanding.
a boxing studio. And a couple of my friends in recovery go do boxing as part of their recovery. It's like something that they like to
Outstanding.
do. Yeah. So, um, yeah. So I'll see. I swear to God, I don't know. I don't know. Divine intervention. I don't know. I'm like, I've never planned anything before like this. I like to plan parties at my house. And so I'm like, I was very honest with people. Like, this is my first time. I really don't know what I'm doing, but would you like to help me? And the support of
Mm.
this recovery community, starting with you, my friend. What do you need? That's what I'm getting. What do you need? What do you need? And you're putting these really cool reels together for me. I'm like, oh my God, these are so great. I'm, I'm having fun with it, but I
It's
wanted
awesome.
I wanted to get on here quickly, and and I have so many people that have been helping that I'm just like I'm floored. I really am. But one of my friends, Billy from Brainwash Coffee, said, "What do you
Yeah.
need?" Well, he's sponsoring our event, Brainwash Coffee, because we're gonna do it. It's coffee and
I
comedy,
love it.
and
Love
yeah.
it.
So we're setting up all the tables, and we've got I've got some of my friends. They're baking stuff, and some of our local restaurants are donating, cookies and cupcakes. And I said, make sure I get my apple cider, my apple cider donut. All I care about. It's the fall, y'all, so why not, right? And
Right.
my friends are like, "What do you need? I will come and
Yeah.
help you." My friend Barbara's gonna come up and help, and Linda and Carrie, and they're just like, "What time do you want me there?" And one of the very first people that said, "Can I help with something?" I'm like, "I think maybe we'll do a raffle." And so
Yes.
my good friend Kim Ellis, I just freaking love this woman so much.
Is she not beautiful? She
Silver
is
is a new gold,
beautiful.
inside and out.
She is
And
beautiful.
she sent me a sweatshirt, and it just has snowballed. And our friend Danny from Clarity Caps and the Sober app, they sent some stuff out.
Woo.
Jackson from Stay Stopped sent me, the shirts that he made for them, and we're
Yay.
gonna showcase him. And Megan from Sober Buddy, like, send me the little things so you can download the app. And uh,
Outstanding.
Ryan Phillips, Brett Sopel, the Divine Source Matter, and Clean Apparel. Ryan from Clean Apparel today. He just said, "Tell me more about this event. Let me send you out some stuff." And it's just been so wonderful. I love you guys. You guys are the bomb. So we're helping to raise money for people that cannot afford it. They do take insurances, but some people cannot afford it. And so we don't want anybody not to get the help that they are seeking.
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
where it's all going. This is where it's all going to. Uh, it is October 7th, not 6th, but that's okay. I
Oh, did
love
I
you
say
anyway.
6th? Did I say 6? Oh, it's 7. It's October 7th at 6.
At 6. Doors open at 6. Yes.
Brain buster for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna come out. I've been selling tickets, and people that cannot make it, I've been sending donations. Mike from Sober Press, he's
uh,
out in Texas, but I got a message from Dave, New York Dave sent
New
me a
York
message,
Day.
and he is driving up here Friday morning to help me set up. I'm just like, I'm floored. I'm so humbled.
Amazing.
I'm like, what? Yeah.
It's
Tommy
amazing
Fig,
what
the
it's
book, he sent
amazing.
me a book, like, here, take these things. My friend Ashley, ex party girl LA, sent me these cute little things, and um I, I'm floored. I'm
It's
floored.
amazing what happens when we ask for help. With a pure
Yeah.
heart, we ask for help. And the difference is what you're talking about right now. I do remember so many years in my past having, financial, no insurance, no money being one of the things that stood in my way from getting the help that I needed. And what I think what we've done just in the past 5 years of recovering out loud with this online recovery community is that we have opened the doors for so many more people to get the help, get the support that they need when they need it. Versus, the only old ways of doing it, you either do it this way or there's no way, or that white knuckling. And not to say we don't still white knuckle. We can't be with someone all the time, but that's part of the process, learning to stand on our own feet.
Yes.
But that's what I think is beautiful about situations and things and events like this, and the fact that this recovery community, especially online, can be wherever we are in the world, and just lend what it is that we have to lend. And it's amazing that nobody bats an eye. And
No.
part of that is your integrity, part of that is your character.
Been so amazing, and even friends that I've met in person that are in recovery. Some of them, they don't recover out loud, but they are happy to help. They're happy to
Yeah.
help, and they're sending me things. And there's one gentleman, Chris Lacko. He does recover out loud, so it's okay that I say it. The Sober High. Um, he is donating a sweatshirt, and he said, I'm going to do you one better, girl. I'm going to come there with my trunk full of all the
Wow.
colors and all the sizes, so whoever wins it will take home the one that fits them. I'm like, oh my god, Chris, thank you so much. It's been
That's amazing.
amazing. It's
That's
just been so
amazing.
amazing. Even my boss at work, Sarah, she bought my first two tickets, her and her husband. He forgot about their anniversary, but she goes, "What's this weekend?" And he's like, "We got something going on, and it's her anniversary." She goes, "Okay, what's next week?" "Oh, Lori's event." They're not in recovery, but they want to support. They want to
That's
support,
amazing.
and they bought the first two tickets. And I don't know. I don't know. I just, my
I love
heart,
it.
gratitude, the great
Yes. Yes, an
gratitude.
arsenal of gratitude, to be
Yeah,
truly honest. And it's amazing. And it makes me so happy that this is happening. I am overjoyed and honored to even have lended anything to this, to be able to do some of the things that,
I was
that
like,
make me
I'm sending these little things, and I'm like, I'm sending them to the director, and I'm like, look at this. I don't know how to do any of these things. I'm like, oh,
my
and
honor.
I'm just like, I get so nervous because, of course, I want it to be perfect, and I know that
Of
it can't be.
course. Of
I know that it
course.
can't be. And I was talking to somebody today about it, and things that don't go the way that you think that they should be going, go
That's, yes, the
exactly
way
the
they
way they're
should.
supposed to. And so we have to
Absolutely.
take a step back, breathe, and just absolutely let it be, let it unravel, because it's already
Yes.
done. It's already
Yes.
done. So
And it's
yeah.
in motion. And the more we try to control every moving part, the more then that we step in the way of that divine unfolding. And
Yeah.
when in this in tonight's show, this is a three-part series where I've been telling my story and how my recovery process is unfolded and leveled. And that's basically where it comes into the place where I stopped trying to control all the parts and kind of just got out of the way and learned how to be and watch this stuff unfold. And you've set the momentum, you've set the momentum, in motion, and there's so many beautiful hearts and energies that have touched this thing. And I think that as limited as our imagination can be, it's not going to hold, even if it went as perfect as we could imagine. The way it's gonna go is gonna be more perfect than we could have ever imagined. And so,
Yeah.
I'm hoping, my wife and I are really doing our best to try to get there. I got these. Oh, I'm fingers crossed so tight. I so
Well, we
desperately
get
want to come
to
up.
I would love, love, love to meet you and hug you, and
Oh
just
gosh.
it would be an honor. It would be an honor. But I do know, and like, I was supposed to meet Ryan. He was here in the States, and I was looking so forward to it. Ryan Phillips from Divine Source Matter, and you know, it just didn't happen. And of course, I'm disappointed, of course. But I know that it'll be another time.
Yes.
It just
Yeah.
wasn't our time this time, but it will. It will.
Divine
And if you
timing.
cannot come, I know there will be a time
Oh yeah.
where we
Oh
have,
yes.
yeah.
You better believe it. You better believe it. I am so blessed to be a part of this recovery community. There's so many people. Like, I feel like I should just take a cross country trip to meet so many amazing people
Wouldn't that be
that
great? I would
wouldn't
love
it
that.
be? Oh my gosh, that would be the most amazing like dream come true, just to travel across country and meet all of the warriors that have been a part of
Get
my
in a
journey. And
van or an RV, right?
I know. I know. Like
Recovery
I
soul food. I see it now, Elsie. Recovery soul food on the side panel.
on the road.
Traveling across country to meet all you people.
That's right. That's
Love
right.
it.
Hey, listen, we might have just planted a seed right there. You never know what's going to happen. We might have just planted a seed.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
so. I
That
am
would be awesome.
definitely, yes, I am definitely going to have to go everywhere. I'm going to look like a ping pong ball going everywhere. There's so many. So tell everybody, I know I've got it here on the screen, but tell everybody how they can get tickets, how they can get in touch with you, what's the
Yeah.
best way. Tell
So
us
I
all of it.
have my Instagram page is where I am on the most, and it's at Laurs, LAURS _ sober world, and you can DM me for tickets. I also have a Facebook page, and I'm just Lori Anderson on there. I can get you. You can Venmo me. There's PayPal. I can send a link, whatever. To get tickets or to make a donation if you can't come, maybe buy somebody a ticket that's able to come, or any donation, no matter how small, is greatly appreciated. And I will get the tickets to you, or get the donation is right to New Horizons. It doesn't come to me, it goes right to them. So I don't have, it's not going to come to me first. I have had people write checks right out to New Horizons Living Center. And it's been a great, great couple of months planning this. I've had so many other things going on in my life that I wanted to give it even a little bit extra, but again, it's going exactly the way it's supposed to. And I have to thank my
Absolutely.
family. My mom's donated. My sister is not in recovery, but she donated a whole bunch of hair products. Or we made a cute
That's
little
so awesome.
basket, and it's just my daughter. and her fiance did a great basket. Unfortunately, they're not going to be there. My children won't be able to be there. Their dad is very sick. Um,
Yes.
but I know they're going to be there in spirit. And yeah, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. And I'm so excited. This time next week, it'll be over. And I'm like, so the director already said to me, so what's our next event? And I'm like, can I
Oh,
get those?
yes. I told you there was going to be a diamond in this for you. I think you're going to
Yeah,
find something
yeah.
for you
So,
that is
yeah,
that is going to be like a
I'm
whole new thing. I
actually have
love it.
some ideas about doing a whole thing out in a park and having vendors and yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
let's just see
Yes.
how this goes first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I love it. And we're going to do our best to get there. And if we're not there, I hope maybe y'all will think about streaming some of it. I think that even for the next event, there's some streaming stuff in that. Yeah, let's do some streaming there. And
Something. Let's do it.
yeah, let's
I
do
want.
it. Let's do
I
it.
have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I needed this tonight more than you know. I just love to stay connected, and I love a good cause, and I love recovery, and I love you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, it is my honor to sit in your energy and to just get to see your smiling face and to have been able to lend to this cause, and I'm going to keep doing it until y'all are going to keep seeing these reels and comedy for a cause all the way
Yes.
up until
Countdown
no,
gone into
the
story
7th.
6, but yeah, it's going to keep
That's
on
it.
going. I'm going
It's
to
going to
tag the
keep
shit.
going.
And I honestly, I just thank everybody. My friend Matt from Commitment Ink Tattoo sent me a gift certificate, and
Oh
my
wow.
great friend Heather sent me this basket full of stuff, and make your own God box and
Ah,
journaling, and I'm just karmic inspirations with some really cool things of getting your
beautiful.
Zen on, and it's gonna
Oh,
be great.
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be
Yeah,
awesome. I'm
yeah,
so
yeah.
grateful. I'm so
Thank
grateful.
you, Pete.
And
Thank you so much.
no, thank you. Thank you. And we're surrounding you and your family and our prayers and energy, and thank you for coming and lending your energy here to us. And everybody, make sure that you get in touch with Lori Anderson on Instagram at Lars_Sober World to get your tickets. Make a donation. It is October the 7th at 6 p.m. It's Comedy
Right
for a
on.
Cause. That's right. It's on its way. So, Lori, thank you so much. And if you need anything, just reach out to me. Anything at all.
Thank
I'm
you.
here for
I
you.
will.
And I
Thank you.
love you.
Right back at you.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you soon. Bye, Lori.
Bye, guys. You.
I love Lori Anderson. She is amazing. And getting out and doing things like this in your recovery, of course, it's going to feel different. If you're in new recovery, it's going to feel different to go and do things like this. But at the same time, we are in recovery, like we have a life. The more controlled we continue to let our, alcoholism and addictions and all of that tell us where we can go and what we can do, we're still controlled by it, just in another way. So really, if you're in the Connecticut or near the Connecticut area, or you want to make a donation, make sure that you get in touch with Lori Anderson at Lars_Sober World, and it's Comedy for a Cause. And I cannot wait to hear how it goes, and hopefully I'll be there myself. But in the meantime, let's talk about level 3 and how I get to this place of presence. I want to get us caught up just a hair about last week. We talked about level 1 being that place of disorientation, basically being in that place of active addiction, that where life is happening to me, and that has come from the trauma that we have experienced, that has come from the blueprint of others that have been imprinted upon us. It has come from the places where we are different and we know we're different, and instead of learning to be proud of that and stand in who we are, we often live in this world of shame. And then we talked about going from level 1 into level 2, and that's the recovery process. And that recovery process begins to open up more control. we talked about in my story, it was when I realized that the as I continued to play my abuse over and over and over in my head, that it was happening to me all over again. That all of my control was within those who had abused me. It was in that trauma. And in a moment, there was that big shift within me that realized that, they were going on with their lives, but I was still being controlled by them. And I started a gratitude practice. I began really diving into healing in my recovery. I went to the people that were in my program to help me, and I laid out all of my crap. And I just said, help me. See, a lot of times we find ourselves giving our therapist or the people that, our programs, we give them just what's happening on the surface. And I had done that many times in my life. I mean, I had been in active addiction for 22 years. The majority of my life, all that I knew was trauma and addiction. We even talked about last week how my first addiction was to food at the age of 6 years old. And then it went to alcohol, and then very quickly into opiates and different, substances. But there was always this underlying, I was always chasing something. I was always trying to fill what I thought was a void. I was always running away from myself because by the world's standards, myself was wrong. The blueprints and the beliefs that I had been, absorbed in my life said that being a person with gender issues was wrong and it was shameful and I had to hide it. Being a person that had experienced sexual abuse and trauma was shameful and I had to hide it. If anyone saw me or my true scars or who I was, then everyone would just leave me. And so I was constantly trying to fill with whatever would help me experience some kind of fulfillment in the moment. That's what I was filling with. So for 22 years, I had gone in and out of treatment several different times, and I would always talk to different psychiatric professionals, but I only stayed on the surface because there was a lack of trust. I thought, no matter who else you've seen, their shamefulness, their darkness can't be as dark as mine. If you see this, you're going to judge me. If you see this, you're going to, shame me. And that was already happening in my world so much. Anytime, and this happens to us a lot, it doesn't really matter what you're hiding. We, over time, throughout our years, we open that up just a little bit and try to let someone see it. And then as soon as any little thing happens, if they say the wrong thing or they don't pay attention just right or, whatever happens, we close the door back real quick and it reiterates to us that that's not safe. Keep it in. Don't tell a soul. I had not uttered a word about ever being sexually traumatized until I was 25 years old to anyone except the one time when I was 11 that I tried to tell my family, and that didn't go well, and I closed the door on that. And so I was carrying all of that darkness, all of that weight within me, and I just felt that was shame. So in that level 2, I started becoming purposeful about what I wanted to do with my life. All of a sudden, I had a purpose and a passion, and it was recovery, and it was recovery out loud, because I thought, if I can do this, then I know anyone can. And I didn't want people to have to white knuckle through everything like I did. So I came on to this, what was supposed to be just a podcast. Never was I supposed to be in front of a camera. And all of a sudden on Facebook, it just took off. And there were so many people that were going through the same things and that were looking for some help and inspiration and information and motivation. And then we were all together in this positive energy. And it very quickly grew, and all of a sudden, there was this moment where we're building this community, and I'm a part of something positive for the first time in my life. And so, as we're chasing purpose in that level 2 place, we're chasing healing and purpose. And we get into that place where we're talking about in level 1, we're stuck in the past. And we know that depression is living too far in the past, and anxiety is living too far in the future. Because what we get to in level 2, in that finding purpose, is all of a sudden we're still trying to meet the world's blueprint of success. We don't really know what our vision of success is. We're still trying to meet someone else's vision of success. And during that time, I really got into the personal development phase, and it was just go, go, go. Get on your grind. Get on your hustle. Go, 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 go. And if nothing's happening, you're not doing enough. And in level 3, I go from being a human doing to becoming a human being. But this didn't happen nice and easy. This happened when it looked like my entire world was falling apart. I had to develop this beautiful, beautiful community on Facebook, but I started receiving a lot of hate. My biggest message in recovery when I started doing, live videos was heal your roots. Don't stay on the surface and just talk about what's going on in your life now. Lay all your shit out. If you are in a situation where you have a professional that's supposed to be helping you through this stuff, how much can they really help you if you're not really telling them what's going on, what lives under the surface? We got to get to the root. Because when we get to the root of the weed doesn't come back. If we just continue to chop it off at the surface, it comes back every day, and you're chopping at the same weed every day. And if our mind is the garden to the subconscious, which is our still small voice, and we are continuously just cutting the weeds off at the top, then the roots are still in us. And we're not being helped. So I laid all of my stuff out. I went all the way back. And it was almost like this regurgitation of just, let me get all of this darkness and shame outside of me, because I need some help. And so during that 4-year stint of Recovering Out Loud on Facebook and building such a beautiful community, there came a time in that where I had gone through the healing of my sexual trauma and my abuse, and I had gone through, my lack of self-worth, and I had gone through all of those, and I came to this place where I had to now deal with the gender issues. I wanted to just sweep that under the rug. I had found a purpose. I had found a place in my life where I fit. I had found a dream that I could look forward to, that I could strive for. But that still small voice in me said, but we cannot be a hypocrite. We cannot not visit this that has been alive in you since you're 4 years old. One of your first shameful secrets was that you felt trapped in the wrong body. And the way this all laid out and played out, it was as if it was just divinely, it was just divinely orchestrated. And I could not deny that. And so I started feeling free for the first time. And I had at that time, like, show producers and people that I was getting into connection with that were wanting to help me take my platform to the next level, but they were encouraging me not to speak about this. They were encouraging me to basically stay shamed, stay undercover. And my fear, because we're always within one decision, we always have one decision to make, and that is between love or fear. And love, not in the gushy, I'm falling in love with you way, but love is an action, or fear. And I knew what was right for me. And I would not be a hypocrite and tell an audience that we had grown and that was growing with me and with Recovery Soul Food, that was growing with us. I could not hypocritically say, heal your roots, and then hide mine. Because to me, it wasn't about being transgender. It was about healing. Recovery is about healing. It doesn't matter what the little bitty details are. It's about healing the roots that always just keep you running from relapse. Always just keep you looking over your shoulder for relapse. We have a young lady here that says she was sober for 4.5 years, and then her mom got sick with cancer, and she relapsed because she just wanted to be normal again. And see, that is what I had gone through so many times in my life. I would gain that clean and sober time. I would gain all of that momentum, but I still had roots within me. And so it was something like that is so heartbreaking and overwhelming would come up in my life, and I would relapse. And then that would start that old voice and that old tape in my head that would say, see, you're never going to do it. You've been addicted too long. This is your life. This is all you know. And over it played, and the shame of that came in. And I knew in the midst of my 9-month relapse, 9 years ago, I mean, my wife asked me today, she said, you should start thinking about how you want to celebrate. Your 10 years of recovery is coming up. And I thought, 10 years? There was a moment that I didn't believe I could get 10 days. But I didn't just want to be clean and sober. And my advice to you, Michelle, is that that's truly not your normal. And I know it may feel that way because so long we do the wrong thing, so long that doing the right thing feels wrong, that we have to get into that space where it's going to take us some time. You know, my first 2 years in recovery, and I count it, was not squeaky clean. It was not perfect, but my healing momentum never stopped. See, I always wanted to keep healing. I started recognizing and using those moments where, you know, I would just get so overwhelmed that I would use. And of course, I'd always tell myself, well, I'm not using my drug of choice, so it's different. I was still using to escape. I was still trying to escape the bigness of what was happening to me. And so there can be a lot of opportunity within that relapse. See, every relapse leaves clues to what is still left unhealed within us. And so, you know, it doesn't matter to me whether you're in a relapse right now. There's no shame behind that. You see, we have built something that's called a reticular activating system in our brain that has us looking for what we know is our normal. And it will have us looking for problems that will trigger within us a wanting to use. And so there's so much that's going on that this is not about willpower strictly. There is so much else that is going on here. But healing is at the core. Healing is at the core. So I beg of you, don't beat yourself up for this. I understand that the temptation to say, well, I had gotten so much time, you know, I'd gotten so much sober time, and now it's just all gone to waste. It is not gone to waste. Get up from where you are. Continue to move forward. Learn from every time that something gets overwhelming, and don't beat yourself up. If that was your coping skill, you know, using substance had been my coping skill for more than half of my life. And I started counting all of the times that I was making it through. The harder time in life. All of the things I was making it through. And I started counting those more than I was counting the times that I called myself screwing up. Because it's not a screw up. Healing is a process. Recovery is a process. It is not a one and done. And I don't like it when we don't count our time, because this is a healing journey. And level 3 starts becoming about the journey. Because there comes a time in this story where this whole community that I had built up, some of them just began to turn on me. Some of them could not take the journey with me as physically I started transitioning. As I started becoming the true and real authentic me, not everyone could come along with me. I started receiving a lot of hate. It started becoming a very negative energy. But what was also happening behind the scenes is that all of the external security that I had built and was trusting and relying on also started falling apart. For the first time in 8 years, my wife and I were looking at homelessness. But we didn't have any warning. We left our home so that something could be fixed in our apartment, and we never got to go back. You know, they went in, they ruined all of our stuff. It was this big thing, and to the outside, it looked as if everything was falling apart. I started becoming so overwhelmed. You know, last week I talked a bit about how my wife was being way over medicated by people that were not mental health professionals, that were sitting in the place of mental health professionals, but were not qualified to be. And they just kept medicating all of her symptoms versus helping her heal the issues. They were just medicating her symptoms. And for almost 7 years, she was asleep. She was asleep and not a part of our family. And our family had really imploded within. And it was my wife, myself, and our son, and we were three individual human beings cohabitating in the same space. And so, you know, this whole leveling starts with my wife having a heart attack. And now all of a sudden, she's beginning to wake up and realize that she's not ready to go. And she starts taking steps to wean herself off of these medications because those same doctors didn't want to let her go. But she knew, her still small voice said, it's time for me. And so she was doing that. We were getting to know each other all over again. A 10-year relationship we were starting all over. We now didn't have our home. Our son had left home, you know, in a negative way. Less than a year before that, we had survived one of the biggest hurricanes that had ever hit our area, Hurricane Florence. You know, so much had begun to happen. But I had done enough healing in my life that the still small voice in me knew that something greater was on the other side of this opposition. Now, I don't want you to hear me say that and think that I'm just sitting there in la faith and just bling, just moving through all this stuff with no fear, no anger, no asking why, no, you know, frustration. I also lost my doctor, who was such a huge part of my life, my transition, my healing as a whole human being. She tells me in this same year, we're also in the middle of a pandemic. This is January of 2020. Wife has a heart attack. August of that year, we go away, supposedly for a week, so that our apartment complex can come in and fix a major water leak, and we never get to go back. And all of our stuff in that apartment that we have now, all of our son's stuff, everything was important to us, is now ruined. We have nothing. And doctors leaving. Our housing advocate, who helped us strengthen and make a plan from where we're going to go and how we're going to move forward and how we're going to be compensated for this and just all the things that we need in times like this, all of a sudden, she's gone. And we were dead broke. Everything was just happening. And I had to step away. All I had left was the online recovery community that had been traveling with me so long. And I was feeling on the inside of me, in my soul, that I needed to step away from that. Now, by this time, with all this happening, it had shifted from not just pure purpose into now at least I have this telling me that I'm okay. At least we're reaching 40,000 people a day that are telling me that I'm okay, that I'm worthy, and I'm worth it. Because somehow within me, I was faltering. I wasn't feeling worth it. I couldn't control anything. I couldn't keep my wife, you know, I couldn't keep her health okay. I couldn't make people do right by us. We had been model tenants there. We had never been late with our rent. We had never caused a problem. Why was this happening? But I kept being drawn back to these prayers for a new start that I had been praying for years before. And all the healing work that I had done. And I stopped living in that place of pure purpose and future. How do I make this, keep growing? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're looking for a career in social media, you don't get to take breaks. Because as quick as people click on, they click off and they move on. And so I had to go through this entire detox of going from a person, a human being who felt like I mattered, to now having to learn how to matter to myself. And the ego detox, when I had to go down from doing a live video every morning, 6 days a week, and a live show on Saturday nights, to, okay, I can just do Wednesday. I tried Mondays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. Then it went to just Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. And I completely had to step away. And in all of that opposition, because of the healing work that I had done through level 1 and level 2, now I knew inherently deep down within that I was moving into something else. So tired of chasing the purpose. I got asked a question. I was challenged by one of my most beautiful connected friends on this earth named Martin John Garcia, who has an amazing podcast called Recover Yourself. He challenged my gender identity, not in a negative way, in a soul way, in a worth way, that said, but you're not just that. And I had to realize that he was right. All of these labels myself, all of these things that I was chasing because I thought that they would give me some type of worth. And as quickly as I built that worth, and as easily as it all fell, I realized that I had to build worth from within. That I had to learn to stare my scars directly in the face. That I had to learn to open up to my own healing. That I had to learn that I was able to make a choice in every moment, whether I went with love or if I gave in to fear. And I don't know where Recovery Soul Food's going to go from here. I took it was quite a long break. I mean, I think it was like 6 months, maybe even longer. And I've just come back this season. And this season 4 has been so divinely inspired because to me, it's not about numbers. It's not about how many people we reach that need to be reached. It's about reaching those that are hungry for true healing. I can give you a million snazzy motivational quotes that can make you feel good for the moment and get you up out of bed and going towards your recovery. But I'd rather give you some real substance that is going to keep you believing in you when everything around you says you shouldn't. Today I stand in a place where this is me, and I'm not ashamed of any part of it. I'm not ashamed of my addiction. I'm not ashamed of being transgender. I'm not ashamed of being 48 years old and really being born into my life now. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not ashamed of any of that. Because this is my journey, and that's what level 3 is. That next level of recovery is journey oriented. This is where we realize that happiness is the path, and that happiness has been available to me, and it is available to you right where you are. It comes down to perception. And it's it's one word, and we think it sounds so easy, but changing our perception is what changes our life. When we get to the place where we understand that life really has no meaning other than the meaning that I give it. Once we really grasp that, we start to understand how much more control we truly have. In any moment, I get to choose to see the gratitude in the situation at hand, to see the opposition in the situation at hand, or to see the opportunity for growth that it is offering me. I get out away from judgment, of judging something bad or good. Because it is in that judgment that we suffer. If you're going through something right now that you are judging bad, unfair, and shouldn't be happening, what really are you accomplishing? But if you start to look between the lines and start to find ways that you can be grateful, then little by little your perception change. What does Wayne Dyer say? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it takes a while for that to sink in. And trust me when I tell you, though you may make a decision tonight to change your life today, the work begins in the moment that decision is made. Because now you know you have a choice. And it's very hard when we look at things like people we love being sick, when we look at people we love passing away. My whole transformation in life started in 2008, end of 2007, 2008, when my brother died unexpectedly, my grandmother, who was like my mother, died unexpectedly, and 6 months later, my grandfather, my best friend, my only dad, died as well. And I had been given 6 months to live. Not because I had a disease, but because my grief was shutting down my organs and my muscles. The doctors looked at me and said, "We don't know. We can't tell you what you have. But what we can tell you is that all of your organs are shutting down and that your muscles are becoming so rigid," they use the word atrophying. I was walking with a walker. But I had made my grandfather this solemn promise in his dying breath that I would figure out how to make something so amazing out of my life, that I would get it together and I would make him proud, that I would make his name mean something more than just down and out and giving up. We don't have to let our pain be like a cinder block that's tied to our ankles and just dragging us down for forever. We can let it become a platform in which we stand and realize that through all of that, the common theme is, I keep getting up. And people right now, more than any other time, need to see us continue to get up, to be open. You know what this young lady Michelle did by openly saying what she said about having the 4.5 years and then going back into relapse because something traumatic was happening. That's huge. Because that means once it's out in the light, it can't live and ferment in the dark. Light doesn't grow mold. Darkness does. Cold, moist darkness grows mold and infections. We don't have to battle the darkness. We just got to turn on the light. And that begins with turning on the light within us. What is your light today? What one small speck of gratitude can you find in this moment? Because if depression is living too far in the past and anxiety is living too far in the future, then your happiness lives in the present. It's in being right here, right now. Take the pressure off yourself. Go through this moment and do the best you can. And like our good friend Laurie Anderson, ask for help when it's necessary. And don't let your brain and your defense mechanisms shut you down when you don't find the answer that you want or that you need. Because listen, what I tell you is your vibe attracts your tribe. Your core vibration, which is fear, when we're holding back those things we're shameful of, will unknowingly cause you to go to the person that is not going to give you what it is you need to fully open that door. In fact, they're going to be the one that gives you every reason to shut it back. Because inherently, subconsciously, you want to keep it closed. This is where we got to get uncomfortable. This is where, if that person doesn't give you what you need, go to the next. If that program doesn't give you what you need, go to the next. If that counselor, that therapist is not able to help you, go to the next. But don't stop fighting for your life. That is your power. This is your life. This is the one that you get in this space. And everything has been about something. So stop beating yourself up about a past that was meant to be. If your past was meant to be, it's meant to be, and it's meant to be for something. Again, we have got the most addictive and deadliest fentanyl coming into our reality right now than we've ever seen before. We got to get raw, we got to get open, and we've got to speak our truth, regardless of what it is. Remember what I said in the beginning. Beware when there's big flashing lights trying to get you to look over here and over here and over here. Because generally there's something happening back here that you're trying to be distracted from. Like I said, when you're standing over a child that is no longer with us because of overdose, does it matter if they're male, female, non-binary, transgendered, gay, lesbian, straight, black, brown, white, red, whatever? It doesn't matter. So we're not battling other human beings. We've got to get clear on what our purpose is. If you've got 30 minutes in recovery, you've got something to say. You've got a testimony. If you've got 30 minutes, 30 days, 30 years, your experience is valid. And if you keep just moving forward, even if you've fallen down and all you can do is crawl forward, inch by inch, you will eventually get to where you're going. And we need you. So wherever you are tonight, whoever you are, whatever the circumstances, know that you're important. And in case nobody's told you today, you're so important to me. I don't care if you're if you're living in the streets, if you're using right now, I need to tell you, you're important. You are important to this recovery community. You are important to this human race right now where we are in history. Recovery community, get ready because it's time for you to change the world. I love you guys. I thank you so much for hanging out with me and for all of you that will watch this on the replay. I am honored and grateful that you all spend this time with me. And however much of this you watch, just know that you got what you were supposed to get. And that you are divinely blessed. And I truly love you and believe in you. So I said if you hung out until the end of the video that there would be this amazing offer that will lend to your ultimate healing. Pamela Topchian of Breakthrough Hypnotherapy has offered the Recovery Soul Food audience and now the Recovery Revolution live audience a free full session of hypnotherapy. Now, let me explain to you what hypnotherapy is. It is not some side show that you've seen in magic tricks or carnivals or anything. This is just a true healing modality that relaxes your conscious mind and speaks directly to your soul. It is an amazing experience. It's very relaxing. It's like meditation times 10. And Pamela is amazing at it. It is her gift. And each one of you watching this or that'll hear this, please realize this: you have a gift within you too. You didn't come here without something to give to humanity. So even if you don't know what it is right now, keep going because you will. This is Pamela's amazing divine gift. And all you have to do is go to www.hypnobreakthrough.com mention Recovery Soul Food, mention you saw us on Recovery Revolution Live, and you can have that free session. And that's in addition to the consultation and the consultation session. And then you get your free full session. And don't let money or being able to continue stand in your way. Pamela Topchian has amazing resources. She's more concerned about your ultimate healing than anything. So don't let anything stand in your way. Take her up on the offer. What do you have to lose, right? All you got to lose is some stress. That's it. That's it. So make sure you reach out to her. I am so absolutely grateful and grateful to have been here with all of you tonight. Thank y'all so, so much. You are amazing. Marty, thank you for being here. Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man. And yes, thank you for speaking that. Thank you for speaking your truth out loud right here. You have no idea what kind of light you have just shown upon yourself. There are so many guys out here in this recovery community and mental health community that will be willing to speak to you, man. So connect where your heart tells you to connect. I'm so grateful that you were here as well. Remember, depression living too far in the past, anxiety living too far in the future, and a lot of times what scares us the most is our what we start to think could happen versus if we get present and really know that right now in this moment I'm okay. So I love you, brother. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best. So for all our friends and family down in Florida who have gone through Hurricane Ian, our prayers, our love, everything is with you. I'm sending it all for everyone in South Carolina and in my neck of the woods. You know, we love you. We are praying for you. You're in our thoughts and prayers. May you all recover better than you have ever been in your life. And this is when humanity really comes together in the face of disaster. So it would be an amazing thing if we could just come together without all that and come together anyway. So until next week, I love you guys so much. Y'all have an amazing, amazing week because you choose to have that kind of week, and you are that powerful, and you do have the choice. Hang in there. I love you. And I will see you guys, next Saturday night. Talk to you then. Bye.